Rob, the sevens, interesting weekend of sevens in London this weekend, the final tournament of the season. South Africa sadly conceding the lead that they had at the top of the World Series log 2 weeks ago. So they finished as runners-up. Fiji, of course, winning the overall series, but the USA winning their first cup.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big talking point, was the sort of the rise of the USA. People are now saying, of course, that, watch out, the USA look as though they're emerging as a real force in sevens. And it would be great if that was the case, because that'll also presumably help their 15s quite a lot. If sevens is getting a lot of mileage. You see that sometimes with these smaller nations, that if they start doing well at sevens, which is obviously quite a crowd-pleasing format, it can have a positive sort of ripple effect on their 15s. We also know that there's quite a massive expat community in the United States, which gives them options for sort of plucking players from all sorts of weird locations on the planet, including, in the past there have been the odd sort of South African or Zimbabwean. So good signs for them. But Blitzbokke fans will be a little bit disappointed that again we sort of got silver for the year. There was a point earlier in the campaign. I remember going to the Dubai tournament a few months ago now, where South Africa seemed to be really building up an amazing head of steam, and they won that tournament. We're getting really rave reviews, rightly, because they were playing such an up-tempo brand of rugby. Players like Werner Kok, Siabelo Senatla, who have had the consolation of being nominated for the team of the year, which is at least some consolation to grab. But they looked such an awesome force, sort of at the halfway, heading for the halfway stage. But then in the final straight, it's almost as if South Africa sort of just botched it a bit. So see, we only made a couple of plate finals in the last two tournaments, which certainly didn't help the South African cause. Look, I suppose you can say, well, it's one of those instances where we finished above New Zealand in a rugby tournament, so that's a small blessing, but only just. I think we only held them off by 2 points, wasn't it, Garen? Yeah, so it was a close run thing in the end. We were almost bumped out to third, but did at least hold on to second. So, certainly room for improvements, but we do know there are some fine individual sevens players in this country.
But qualifying for Rio, and I suppose that's the sort of bigger picture here.
Yes, it is. That was always probably foremost on the players' minds. We also know that they went into this final tournament with the slightly awkward dynamic of having to try and sort of manufacture things to make sure that they played Fiji in a quarter, which they did, but then lost that quarter final. So, there were sort of other issues bubbling and perhaps slightly altered the focus of the players. You can't really use it as an excuse, because it was a very checkered tournament, this last one, the English leg for South Africa. But, plenty to still hope that perhaps come the Olympics, maybe South Africa will really hit their straps then. Let's hope so.